friends, welcome back to my channel. It is time for us to talk about another fantastic book that I have read. It is called Fresh Ink, an anthology edited by Lamar Giles, co-founder of We Need Diverse Books. This is a different book than I normally read. Don't get me wrong, it's still young adult fiction. It's still in my wheelhouse sweet spot, but it is actually a book of short stories. I am somebody who, if I'm being honest, I typically stick with novels. I don't know, I gravitate more to novels. I like the development of stories in novels, but I recently have been doing more reading of short stories, and a friend of mine at work gave this to me to read. She actually flagged some of the stories in here, and I read those first, but then I loved the stories so much that I decided to read the entire thing and then share it with you guys because this book is powerful. You kind of get a glimpse of it when it says that this editor is the co-founder of We Need Diverse Books. Basically what this is, it's a very modern collection of minority writers who have written stories that give you really diverse and authentic perspectives to things that, like me as a white woman, I wouldn't have a lot of firsthand experience with. And I found the 13 stories in here so powerful. Like, I'm going to tell you about a couple of my personal favorites. And I mean, I just want to say overall, I loved all of these. I thought all of these were fascinating and interesting, and they made me think. They left an impact on me. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I want to read a book and just want to get lost in it and have a fun, enjoyable experience. But I also really like it when a book can make me think and change my point of view and just make me more aware. And these collection of short stories did that. So the first one that I freaking loved was called One Voice, a something in between story by Melissa De La Cruz. Basically, it's focused on a girl named Jasmine who goes to Stanford, and there are a couple of racially charged incidents that happen on her campus, and she is really impacted by them. She's really upset about them. They make her uncomfortable. They make her sort of question a bunch of beliefs and thoughts and feelings about herself and the idea of, going to a prestigious college and still seeing these types of things happen, and also being upset with how the situations are handled. And there's conflicts throughout with different people who feel differently about how this impacts them or how it impacts her and why it bothers her so much. It does a really good job helping people sort of see the challenge of like dealing with emotions that a person may not necessarily have expected to feel, and what do you do with those, and also thinking about how a person who's listening to someone's feelings may not intend to come across as insensitive or rude, but might make a remark that is not supportive and helpful. And it just makes you think a lot about what to do or how to react in those situations. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting. It is not too like lecture-y or let me talk down to you. It's just very much of here's a snapshot of what someone could be feeling during a moment like this, and it makes you think about what you could do to be a better person in that moment. And I just really liked that. The second story that I absolutely loved was called Superhuman by Nicola Hyun, and it's essentially focused on a superhero. It's modern day USA. It's focused on a superhero who has decided that he does not believe humanity is good anymore, and so he is going to kill everyone. This leads to the president of the United States reaching out to a girl named Sarita. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, I apologize. Named Sarita, who was basically the first person this superhero known as X saved. And they believe that she, by talking to him, might be able to get him to not kill everyone. And she doesn't feel confident in herself. She doesn't know why she would be a good candidate for this. And so the story is focused on their conversation, but it weaves in and out with flashbacks that reveal more and more of like how X came to be, what it was like for Sarita to be saved by him, what it was like for the US and the world to be introduced to him. And it also reveals how he got his powers and why he wants to kill humanity. You get a somewhat unresolved ending with that story, and I love that because it could easily go two different ways depending on your point of view and how you identify with the story. And I really liked it. And that's just 2 out of the 13 in here. I mean, I could talk about all of them and I would speak highly of all of them. This was published in 2018, so it's relatively recent. And some of these authors I have read before, like Melissa de la Cruz has put out a lot of young adult literature and like novel series before, so I was really intrigued by reading a short story of hers and seeing that her writing style is just as impactful in a short story as it is in, a multiple story book series. So I would highly recommend this, and I mean it's a quick read. I read basically all of these short stories in one day because they were so captivating and they were all like 10 to 15 pages. So I really can't recommend it enough. If you're looking for a book that will highlight minority perspectives and make you do some thinking and just reflecting, this is a great vehicle to help you do that, and I can't speak about it highly enough. If you've read any of these short stories or if you read it, let me know in the comments below. We are very quickly nearing the end of summer, so this may well be the last summer reading book that I get a chance to read before I have to start reading for school, but I appreciate you guys tuning in and hearing about my thoughts of Fresh Ink. And I'll talk to you in my next video real soon. Bye.